What's going on, everyone? So, the Los Angeles Lakers obviously are trying to build a true contender. A lot of talks about Andrew Wiggins. They're in the mix of, trying to upgrade this roster enough to where we can contend and win an NBA championship. And that's great. That should be the number one priority, right? Lakers should be doing and turning over every stone and making whatever moves are necessary and doing whatever is necessary to put the Lakers in the best position possible to win a championship, not just for this season, but for the foreseeable future, right? Whether it's guys that are probably going to cycle through this season and then maybe you're getting a couple new guys next year, or if you can get those higher end guys, maybe long-term guys, right? Andrew Wiggins you could have for at least a couple years. Maybe you get a younger guy, Miles Bridges or Herb Jones around the trade deadline or something like that. Luka Doncic recently spoke about Herb Jones, and he talked about Marcus Smart too, and Lakers already got Marcus Smart, so next in line would be Herb Jones. So maybe you can kind of work something out to where you're landing these guys, bringing these guys in, and now you have long-term stability and whatnot. That would be great. I love that. We need that. Let's do it, Lakers. But another thing that I want the Lakers to focus on too, and obviously the Luka Doncic thing threw a loop into everything, right? Like the Luka trade basically like halted every decision that they're making. It's like, okay, now we got to retool here, but it's a good thing. It's in a positive light. Like it's not like, no, you got Luka Doncic. It's a good problem that now you have to navigate and solve and kind of retool your roster and do all these things. Now you don't have a center, so you got to get a center in, right? So the focus has been, hey, we need to now build a team around Luka Doncic, right? That is beautiful. That is fine. Keep doing that. Again, that should be the number one priority. Number one priority is take care of Luka for now and the future, building a roster for now and the future, doing right by your superstars. Obviously, LeBron James. Luckily, almost everything you want for Luka Doncic, you also want for LeBron James, but we don't know how long LeBron's going to be here. He could be here another year. He could be here another 12, right? Like we don't know, and the Lakers don't know, and LeBron doesn't even know. But a big point of emphasis that began last offseason was the Lakers making it very known and even starting the process of carving that out, of creating this development that they want to be the high-end culture development standard, all of that. Hey, you want to be the best basketball player you can be, you need to come to the Lakers. Whether it's our G League, whether it's a two-way, whether it's whatever, right? If you can make the main roster. However, you want to be a part of the Lakers farm system because we're going to make you the best player available to where you're going to then be able to make the roster and then get paid by us or somebody else. That's the goal, right? That's what the Lakers want to be, this farm system. And with the new CBA, you really need that. The new CBA, you need to kind of cycle through because you're going to have guys that price themselves out that just weren't very good that you need to get off of, guys that just leave because they want to go elsewhere or whatever, or maybe get more money, right? Like you're going to have just natural cycles and you're not going to be able to pay everybody. So you're going to have to kind of fill through guys. So ideally it's like, hey, here's, these three guys depart, bring in these three two-way guys, right? And then we got these three guys in the G League. They're moving into a two-way, and you just have this cycle, right? Like, you have players leave, right? Two-way guys come in, new two-way guys come out, or, maybe some G League guys that, already on the two, whatever, right? You're just cycling out with the old, in with the new, and you're constantly keeping fresh talent. You look at, like, the Dodgers. Dodgers have the best farm system in all of baseball, and they're constantly having these guys that they can now package and leverage in trades or that they can bring into the main roster to contribute to winning and all that stuff, right? That's what you want if you're the Lakers. Have this thing. Obviously, the farm system works very different in the NBA than baseball, but it's the idea. It's like you're constantly growing, developing, creating these guys that move in, play a role for you, depart, whether it's trades or whatever, and then the next cycle comes in. And I don't think it's a coincidence that the Lakers made that apparent, started to clean house and get the top in and start really spending and paying money for trainers and development coaches and dietitians. And you got Dr. Sims, who was like he's the track and field for the Olympics guy and then moved into the Team USA basketball guy, right? Like, so he's now the director guy. Like you start going and getting all these higher end guys, which should have always been the case. One, we're the Lakers. You're in LA. You have all the medical centers and stuff like that in LA. You should be having the top doctors and dietitians and all that stuff. But I don't think it's a coincidence that last offseason, the Lakers did all that. And then all of a sudden, fast forward a year, and Mark Walters is now the owner, right? Like, and they said, like, that was in the process, that was in the works for years. Probably because Mark Walters like, hey, we need to start building out and carving out. And that's what I've talked about, right? Where you'll feel Mark Walters' money is in the like the off-court stuff, the development, the facilities, the medicine, the tech, right? Like he's going to put the money and resources and stuff into like the training facilities and all that stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if in, 5-10 years, right, all of a sudden they're building a new stadium for the Lakers, right? And they're balling out this like crazy stadium or something like that, right? Like probably going to get those things rather than, once the lease, I don't know how long the crypto lease is. I know that didn't they, if I'm not mistaken, they renewed the lease a couple of years ago. So you probably have to wait for that. But I wouldn't be surprised if the announcement is like 5 years from now. Like I think they signed it for another like 10 years, something like that. But whatever, let's say 5 years from now, hey, when that lease is up, we're going to have a new stadium type thing. I wouldn't be shocked with Mark Walters, all his money, all the resources, everything coming in. But with all that, with, even this offseason, they went and got guys and added people in and got rid of some guys. Like they want to be the culture. They want to be the standard. We're the Lakers. We're the best of the best. We're the top of the top, right? You come here, your life's going to change because you're going to be great. It would be better for you to come to the Lakers and play for the G League team than it would be to go to any other team because we're going to make you that great, right? Like that's the image and picture. Whether that's true or not, that's what you want the perception to be. Not to mention we have the spotlight, right? We have proven guys, especially if you start getting more proven guys. But look at guys like Malik Monk. You come here, you're going to get the spotlight, you're going to get the attention, you're going to get the development, you're going to get everything you need. If you can't succeed being a Laker, then you'll never succeed type thing. That's what the Lakers need to kind of present. That's what the brand should be, right? And you're going to start getting these guys. You're going to get more Austin Reeves scenarios where they could have gotten drafted but said, hey, no, I only want to go to the Lakers and force their way to Lakers. You're going to see a lot of that stuff, which is great. But again, already talked about number one priority is Luka Doncic and building that contender and stuff. I don't want to lose sight of young talent, right? Part of that farm system and development program and all those things are getting young players, right? You need players that you can grow and develop and plant and water and nurture, and now, boom, they blossom into the basketball player that they can be. But you need those players to do so. Obviously, you got Dalton Connect, who he's probably getting traded at some point. I mean, they're already talking about trading him in the Andrew Wiggins trade. I think Dalton Connect's checked out. I think what's best for Dalton Connect is he gets traded. I will be pretty surprised if Dalton Connect is a Laker at the end of this season. I think at best he gets traded at the trade deadline. I don't think he's going to stick around any longer. But you got Dalton Connect for now. You got Bronny James, who to his credit, say what you want about Bronny James. The dude works his tail off, and you're starting to see the progress. Right? Bronny James, you got a Jude Theroux now. It's great. You have a couple guys that I really like in the that are in the training camp and also on the two-way. Right, you have Chris Menon. He's a guy that could really, I think, do some damage, at least on the defense side of things. Offensively, he needs improvement. But again, that's what the development part is. You got Arthur Kaluma, who I am probably the highest on anybody. I just think he's the exact type of player that we need. Can you kind of shape him and mold him into that, OG type? Eric Dixon is a guy that probably could, help and be a part of the rotation this season. Obviously, we didn't get to see him in Summer League, but he was looked at as the best prospect coming out of college, best offensive player coming out of college. There we go. He led the nation in scoring and all that stuff. He's looked at as one of, if not the most ready now players right now. Right? That doesn't mean long-term. That doesn't mean develop. Doesn't mean he's going to be the best player in the draft or anything like that. But if you're looking for a guy to come in and immediately have an offensive impact, Eric Dixon's the guy to do that. Lakers have been high on him. He's been high on them. But also a lot of these guys are older. Lakers have had a lot of success with older guys, right? But I'd like a couple young guys sprinkled in as well. Give me a couple 20-year-olds that, you can spend 3, 4, 5 years kind of developing and carving out. And, like Bronny James, right? Bronny James is so young. He's younger than our draft pick this year, right? Like, you could spend the next 3 years developing him, and he'd still be as young as some of these, like an Eric Dixon and a Dalton Connect and guys like that. Like, think about that. You could spend the next 3 years developing Bronny James, and he'd still be younger than Dalton Connect is right now, right? So I really want to see the Lakers like, yes, you're putting everything, you're putting the infrastructure in place. We also need to make sure we're getting those guys that we actually believe in. Yes, you need to fill out your G League roster, do all the other stuff, but you need to have kind of the hiring guys. You need to cycle in guys. You're going to lose some guys. You're going to develop guys in the G League. They're going to be killing it and they're going to be great. And then, you're going to end up having, a team come in and swoop up Eric Dixon and stuff. It's going to be part of the process. It's how it's going to go. But that's fine, right? Like, because the idea is that you trust the process, you trust your standard, you've built it enough that like, hey, you're going to lose one or two guys along the way, but all you need to do is be right on one or two guys. And it completely changes your team. You start getting, one or two guys that actually come in and can have an impact and maybe arguably be a starter or a high-end rotation player or something like that. All of a sudden, you're just like, you're doing exactly what you looked for. So carved out the system. Yes, I want to get guys like Andrew Wiggins. I want to get veteran guys because you need balance, right? You need veteran guys like OKC, youngest team ever, but that's an outlier, right? And it's just, there's a lot of circumstances and context that is important, right? But usually you need those veteran guys, you need the experience, right? You saw OKC almost get beat a couple times. I mean, Denver should have beat them. Denver didn't have basically 4 healthy players. They probably do, right? And if Tyrese Halliburton doesn't get hurt, we might have been talking about a different NBA champion, right? And look at Indiana. They had veterans and they had mixtures. Pascal Siakam, guys like that had experience, have been there, done that, right? Like you need balance, right? So I want the veteran guys, I want the experienced guys, I want, an Andrew Wiggins, guys like that come in, play a role. Even DeAndre Ayton, I think is good. He's been in a finals run, all of that. Obviously, LeBron James is more experienced than half the league combined, right? So, all of those things, yes, I think are great. But you also want to have those young pieces that you can grow and flesh out and develop and start to build out, the development side of things. Again, the Luka trade kind of halted everything, right? The Luka trade was like, whoa, time out, hang on. We like everything stops. Stop production. We gotta work this out first, right? And you want to find proven guys, but you also want to create those proven guys and become that system, because also more proven guys are going to want to come, right? Like if I'm somebody like trying to think of somebody that's good, drawing blanks, but like if I'm like we'll just say use Herb Jones, maybe not the best example for what I'm trying to explain out, but if you're Herb Jones and you're like, hey, I'm a really good player. Now every team in the league would love to have me, but I don't want to be just a really good player. I want to be a great player, right? Like if the Lakers can build that foundation where guys like him believe, like if I go to Lakers, I'll be even better than I am right now, they'll come, right? I was trying to think of like a more kind of like lower end, but guys that have promise, somebody like maybe like a Miles Bridges, where he's like, I'm really good. I've been on a bad team. I need a shot on a good team, right? Like, things like that. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. We enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.